I want to start by first thank you guys for your patience over last week. I just worked so much I wasn't able to get a video out. Thank you guys for understanding. Thank you for your patience, and now we are back to our regularly scheduled program. However, of course, as soon as I'm done working a lot, I immediately got sick, so if I sound weird and stuffy and a little drowsy, that's why. I've been very sick.
It's a Friday once again.
Hello my fellow freaks and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have all had a great week. I'm so excited to be back. I hate that I didn't get to, put a video out last week, but now I kind of just chose this movie at random. I think it popped across my recommended on IMDb before, but then I've also seen like a few clips on Instagram and TikTok, and it also showed up on my Tubi recommended. So I've had this movie recommended to me in a few different places, and I thought, you know what, why not? Let's just check it out. It is described as like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre comedy, sci-fi comedy thriller. It's definitely like really interesting. But anyway, yeah, I kind of don't even know what to make of this movie. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions about this movie, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Oh, but first I want to mention that after this video, we are about to start what I want to call a summer of disturbing cinema. I wanted to put it in like its own mini video explaining what my idea is and what I'm going to do, but I don't think I'll have time to get that uploaded before just uploading the next review. So in my next review, I'm going to go into some more detail of like what this means and what I have planned for the next 2 months. In next week's video, I already don't remember if I mentioned it, but it's going to be the first of the, I don't know, series, event of the summer, I guess? I don't know. And next week's video will be on Eli Roth's Green Inferno. This week, we are looking at a movie called Skinned Deep from 2004, directed by Gabriel or Gabe Bartalos. And as I said, it is described by IMDb as being a comedy sci-fi horror, loosely based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And like, while yes, also no, we're gonna get into it. But first, if you are new here, hi, my name is STARGUTZZZ. Any loud noises or crashing or whatever you might be hearing in the background, those are my cats. And my reviews tend to be more of like a discussion of elements that are good or bad about a film, rather than just being like this play-by-play of everything that happens in it. So in other words, I kind of try to refrain from spoilers as much as possible. However, be aware that sometimes they will arise as they pertain to whatever discussion I want to have about the film. And if you would like to watch Skin Deep before the rest of this review, you can do so on our favorite platform on this channel, Tubi TV. They're gonna sponsor us one day. Don't know what that looks like, but Tubi will sponsor us somehow. Anyway, you can watch Skin Deep on Tubi TV. I'll have the link in the description. I'm not sponsored. I just put it there so it's a little bit easier for you to access this film. And now let's get into this review. After unknowingly getting themselves caught in a booby trap, a family lost on the road to vacation gets taken in by a definitely not weird granny and her unusual family. However, things obviously very quickly go south, and the family soon finds themselves in a nightmare. What a shocker, folks. The film primarily focuses on the daughter Tina, as she not only endures a house of horrors and that thing being into her, but uncovers some of the family's mysteries and secrets. First things first, it is being described as similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I see it in one aspect. However, I'm going to fight. I think Skin Deep is way more comparable to House of a Thousand Corpses than Texas Chainsaw Massacre in several ways, which I will get into later on. And while it is focused on horror, the ending, it's extremely sci-fi. There's a lot of body horror as well. I mean, the ending is almost like the love child of From Beyond and Rocky Horror. I feel like that's a weird combination, but I also believe it's accurate. And also, by the way, there's a character in it. His name's Brain or Brian.
Brian. My name's Brian. Whatever.
Whatever you want to call them, they're kind of used interchangeably. I hate this guy. Every single second that this man is on the screen, I would, I don't know, I would rather be stuck in an endless loop of like vomiting. I don't know. And I feel bad about it. I feel bad about having that opinion, but this man gives me the ick. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about with this movie is how unsettling it is. This is such like an unsettling movie right off the bat. That is the very first feeling that I got from it. This is awkward, this is unsettling, this is uncomfortable. I didn't really know what to make of it at first. It really confused my senses in a way. I mean, there was just something very off-putting and just, I guess, off in general about everyone. Not even like a specific character, literally everyone is off-putting.
Really? That's so great.
My house is right across the street. Get your family. I'll meet you in 5 minutes.
And I really went back and forth on like, is this something they're intentionally doing? Or is this like completely accidental? And I went back and forth because there are parts where it feels so intentional and then others where it feels so accidental. I don't know what to make of this movie, dude. And I think I mostly got this vibe from just the actors themselves, the way that they act and behave throughout. Oh my god, if I am mispronouncing things more than usual, I'm blaming my sickness. I'm sorry, I've been sick. My nose is still all stopped up. But anyway, the way that the actors act and deliver their lines.
Welcome, my friends, to my humble home. This is the Surgeon General.
On one hand, it feels like somebody's first time acting, but on the other hand, it also kind of feels like they're exaggerating their acting on purpose to make it more weird. I think it's the granny character also that really confuses me a lot because there's so many scenes with her specifically where I'm like, oh, the director is aiming for this. This is intentional. She's like intentionally acting this way. But then there are other ways that she acts them and I'm just like, no, she's just a bad actor. Which is it? It ends up being unsettling, the way that these characters act and behave, the way they deliver their lines. Everything is just, there's something wrong. There's something off with everyone. Oh, I also just really briefly want to add how the granny, her acting a lot of the time really reminded me of Edith Massey.
Brain, you said you were going to take care of them, but I always end up taking care of them.
Oh, Cotton, you make me so happy. You and the Eggman. Please, Mr. Eggman, please don't ever quit your job. I'll always want eggs. Always and always and always.
Just a little side note. I guess they feel uncanny. Like a lot of the line there are many moments of like line deliveries that just feel robotic and lifeless, even though they're moments that are supposed to probably have some life behind them. And it makes it really, really uncanny. I think that also aids in the unsettling factor that this movie has. Oh, and you know how I mentioned that this is also like a comedy? I think that every element of comedy that this film is attempting to use just makes it weirder, just makes it even more strange. It does not help the tone at all. Every single moment that you can tell, is trying to be comedy, it just makes the film feel even more unsettling and weird and just strange and not right.
I think he likes you.
Oh. Oh, easy there. She's spoken for.
There's something off. There's something off about these people, dude. Every person. I don't know if there was ever a moment in the film that I actually like laughed from a part that's supposed to be comedy, but there are definitely moments where you can identify that this is supposed to be a comedic part of the film, but instead it just aids to how weird the vibe is. I really have a difficult time describing exactly how it's unsettling, other than, you know, how the actors are acting. I think it's more so something you need to experience firsthand. I feel like if you go out and watch Skin Deep, you might immediately know what I am talking about. It's just weird. There's something uncanny, there's something off-putting and unsettling. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there are both accidental and intentionally unsettling moments in the movie, because there are moments where you can tell it's purposefully trying to be a little bit creepier, but then there are moments where you're just like, but I think overall it aids in the overall tone of the film, definitely, because it just becomes, it's naturally unsettling. And the end credits, I'm not gonna tell you what the end credits are, but the end credits are definitely also very unnerving, I think, in my opinion. The end credits are unnerving. There's definitely a lot of details and elements that come together in this film to give it this unsettling, weird, strange vibe, and one of them is definitely the set designs and the aesthetic choice that Skin Deep has. The visual tone of this movie is just like, it's really cool. It's really kind of incredible. One of the very first things that I noticed about the visuals of this movie is how it's from 2004, but it's very effectively shot as if it's a movie from the 1970s, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be. It's shot in the same grainy, whatever camera they might have used for, I don't know. Whatever camera might have been used for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it feels like maybe the same camera was used to shoot Skin Deep, because it definitely gives off the vibe and the look like it came straight out of the 1970s, like it's not a modern movie. In fact, the only things that like give off the hint that this is somewhat modern are, I think there are two examples of camcorders being shown, and they're definitely, at least by 2004 standards, more modern than what you would ever see in the 1970s. But that's the only like modern element. Everything else, like the attire and again the settings, how everything looks, it looks like it was shot and made in the 1970s. And this camera or video quality, I think, to me personally, is the only relation that this film has with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because let me tell you, this has so many similarities and parallels to House of a Thousand Corpses. And yes, those two like are already kind of similar, but I think A Thousand Corpses differs itself in several ways, such as with like how brutal it is, how much more leaned into a narrative it is. Like, you know, there's characters that talk, and we get to actually know the characters rather than them just being these screaming cannibals, basically. I think a lot of the sets and the antagonists themselves, like the Skin Deep family, I don't think they have any kind of like surname. I don't know what to call them, so I guess I'm gonna call them Skinned Deep family. But anyway, these two elements have many aspects that are reminiscent of Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. I think one of the biggest examples is the miles upon miles of underground pathways that are attached to the house and have, like, you know, dead bodies as decor in these pathways. I mean, that's definitely the most recognizable parallel between the two, or more like similarity, like set design similarity. I also think both of the homes in A Thousand Corpses and Skinned Deep, they look like haunted houses, like something you would see at horror nights or something. They look like haunted houses. See, and I think that's another big difference that A Thousand Corpses and Skin Deep has from Texas Chainsaw, because Texas Chainsaw, the house felt very organic and real and like these people are actually living there. And 1,000 Corpses and Skin Deep, it feels more like a haunted house. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It has the vibe and the look of a haunted house. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, by the way. I actually really love that. I think it's really, I like it. It's cute. It's unique. It's fun. I think so often a horror movie tries to go with the realistic approach that when we see it a little bit more surrealistic or exaggerated, I think it's fun. I like that. I think it's I guess a good a good set design route to take. And speaking of the surrealism of the film, just like really briefly, there are moments in this movie that, dare I say, feel very Lynchian, and I'm not the only person who thinks that. I found a review on IMDb, I'll put it right here if I can find it again, of somebody else mentioning how it feels like a little bit David Lynch inspired. Like, so, you know, I feel like I have the tendency to call a lot of things Lynchian, but I feel validated that I'm not the only person who finds some Lynchian aspects of Skin Deep. But anyway, I just wanted to briefly mention that because there are some really cool surreal Lynchian moments. Back to 1,000 Corpses comparison. And by the way, I want to mention too, just because I'm like saying these similarities between Skin Deep and 1,000 Corpses, I don't mean this to be like a negative. It's just an observation. I don't think it's necessarily a negative that maybe Skin Deep is inspired by House of 1,000 Corpses. I don't care. You know why? Because it's very obviously not copying or cloning the movie. You can tell it's just taking some inspiration. So it's nothing negative, it's just an observation that I want to make. And the last thing I want to touch on with it is the family dynamics. I mean, a lot of the members of the Skin Deep family are very similar to the Firefly family. Oh my god, can I please stop being congested? You have the matriarchal leader or mother figure who, she's kind of like a leader, but also it's like maybe more like second in command. There's one member who might have more of a heart than the rest of them, but you know, they still kind of stick with the family. There's some unhinged maniac that rants about just bullshit. And by the way, I am just convinced that Warwick Davis was told to improvise majority of his lines, because what the fuck is he ever talking about in this movie?
The porcelain. It's like a society. Every molecule an individual, like me. But when unified, a structure takes shape. A circular vessel for distributing organic nourishment.
There's a mostly masked, barely human, bloodthirsty maniac, and also a puppet master that's behind the scenes. There's a lot of dynamics and elements going on here where I would say I don't get Texas Chainsaw Massacre from this. I get House of 1,000 Corpses. It feels very heavily inspired by that, especially when it comes to a few of the, like, character designs. Specifically the surgeon. And listen, I love the surgeon, but you can't tell me that he doesn't look like this gross motherfucker from 1,000 Corpses. Like, come on! Are you kidding me? It's obvious. It's obvious. It's obvious. As I mentioned, none of these are bad things, they're just observations, because I do feel like there are many ways that Skinned Deep kind of detaches itself from being a copy or a clone of 1,000 Corpses or Texas Chainsaw, and one of them is definitely the brutality of the kills, and also just like the gore and the body horror that's like the practical effects, like it really stands out through its gore. So as I mentioned, the ending is very sci-fi. It's also very focused on body horror, and as I said, imagine From Beyond or any Stuart Gordon sci-fi body horror. It's like that level mixed with the sexiness of Rocky Horror. Anyway, the way that it chooses to conclude its narrative, I think, is pretty cool, pretty unique, pretty respectable as well, and definitely sets itself apart from other movies in this kind of subgenre maybe of horror. But I think another way that it stands out is like how brutal the kills are. I mean, like, the kills are very simple. They're very simple. It's just simple slashing and stabbing. But even though it's just a simple slash or stab, they still manage to make that shit look so brutal and so like guttural. And I believe that's because of how like detailed and intense the special effects or the practical effects. I think that's because of how like detailed the practical effects are. I mean, it is so gory. You get like a simple throat slash and like there's muscles coming out of the wound with like blood squirting onto people. Or you get a man that just gets stabbed in the neck and it just, I don't know, they managed to make it look so grisly, dude. It's just stabbing. But instead of just like, oh, there's like a little wound and some blood, they make that thing look like he was mauled by an animal. The practical effects in this movie just, it makes it look so especially painful and uncomfortable to endure, even though it's just a simple stab or slash. You know, it's not like it's torture porn or anything. There's nothing, I would say, exactly intense that happens in the killing department, except again maybe towards the end with a few body horror things that do happen. It's just like really cool, exaggerated gore for the hell of it, and I like that. I appreciate that. I'm a gore person. I like splatter gore movies or movies that definitely have like a good like gore quality. I feel like an insane person trying to describe this, but as a person who looks for that in a horror movie and definitely appreciates it, I feel like the gore and the practical effects are just like the biggest highlight of this movie. There's plenty of blood, there is plenty of just like insane violence, and there's some very gnarly body horror as well. Overall, I think that Skin Deep is just like, it's a very neat and fun take on this like kind of subgenre of horror that's focused on this narrative of crazy family in the middle of nowhere harassing family and or random group of people. I don't know. And although it shares a lot of similarities to something like House of a Thousand Corpses, I think there's definitely still like plenty to detach it or help it just be its own thing. Like, you can tell it's just inspired. It's not trying to copy anything. It's definitely uniquely its own. And the film is just, it's a very successfully unsettling and off-putting and just weird. Whether it meant to do that or not, it just came across that way, and I think it was successful in doing so. This is one, okay, it's tricky. This is gonna be tricky for me. I have so many positives to say about this movie, and I highly recommend it to anyone who is especially like a big fan of slashers. Definitely you have to see this movie. It's definitely unique. It's definitely cool. I've really been like back and forth about the rating for this one, dude. Because, okay, here's the thing. As I mentioned, it has all of these pros to it. I feel like I've mentioned so many pros, and there's so many things that I like about it. But here's the thing. It has everything for me to be in love with it. It even has a moment that is Mad Max Fury Road, dude. It has everything in place for me to be obsessed with this movie. So why do I not feel obsessed with it? Both times watching it, I've kind of walked away just feeling very meh. I thought about it for a while, and at the end of the day, at least for right now, I'm gonna have to give Skin Deep I'm gonna have to give it a B tier for right now, which it kind of sucks. It kind of upsets me. I feel like logistically, everything that I've just mentioned about Skin Deep should warrant it being an A tier, but I kind of save A tier for things that I feel crazy about, and for some reason I just don't feel crazy about Skin Deep, even though I have all of these positives to share, even though I have nothing but good things to say and I do highly recommend it. I just for some reason feel very meh about it, and I don't know why. It bothers me because I should love this movie. Like I said, maybe this will be something that changes in the future as I watch it more. Maybe I feel this way because I am so unsettled by it and a little bit confused still as well. Oh, but also there's like a whole little mini story arc that involves a bunch of old people bikers, and I wasn't really crazy about the inclusion of that, so that could also be a reason why I feel kind of meh. There's a whole lot of time that gets dedicated towards it, and while it's all right, I just I'm not like crazy about that being a focus of the movie. So it's gonna get a B. B for I'm blaming Brain because he gives me the ick. That's why I gotta be. Fuck this guy. I got physically ill every single time this man had to walk onto the fucking screen. No offense to the actor, I hate this character so much. And so with that, we're done with yet another movie review. Thank you guys for hanging out and staying until the very end. I really appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much also for your patience and sticking with me as I didn't get to upload last week. Thank you. Anyway, if you have made it all the way to the end and you liked this video, please make sure to stab that like button. It is a free and easy way to help support this channel, and I appreciate it a whole lot. If you liked this video so much that you want to see me talk about more B movies, obscure movies, or disturbing cinema, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be updated anytime that I make a new upload. Also, new reviews come out every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And do you have a film suggestion? Do you have a movie that you would like to see reviewed on the channel? Put it in the comments and maybe you will see it in an upcoming video. Thank you so much to anyone who considers doing any of this. I know in every video I talk about how I haven't gone live in a long time, but guess what? Girl has a streaming schedule now. It's not going to be starting this weekend, but this upcoming week I will be streaming on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at about 6 or 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me live on Twitch, but VODs will also be uploaded to the YouTube. Both of those links are somewhere on the screen. These links will also be in the description below. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, they are on the screen as well and also in the description. Again, just thank you so much for your time, for your presence, being here and watching this video. Time is precious and we really don't have a whole lot of it, so the fact that you used your time to listen to me ramble about this random ass movie on Tubi, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and thank you for your time and for being here. Now I should be catching you guys in my first live stream in a while this upcoming Wednesday at 6 or 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do not catch the live stream, then I will see you in next week's video. But until then, have a good night and stay safe out there.
I didn't know if you were hungry, so I brought you some soup and money.